When you're starting seedlings indoors, usually you're using some sort of container, such as these plastic 4-packs, or you're using any other container. There's a wide variety of containers that are available commercially or through garden or seed catalogs. We have plastic ones, there are peat pots, there are self-contained little nets that have the soil media already in it, and you can use a lot of homemade types of containers. Styrofoam cups with the hole punched in the bottom for drainage work wonderfully. Also, some people use egg cartons, again with holes punched in the bottom, to make little individual pots for starting seedlings. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about another method of starting seedlings. You've probably seen them in several garden and seed catalogs already, and it's a soil block maker. It has 4 individual compartments in the bottom, and it has a plunger mechanism that will push the soil out when you're done, and little bumps on the bottom of those that will leave an impression to put your seed in afterwards. Now, I've been looking at these for years. They look like one of those garden gadgets that basically worked only for the manufacturer and provided them a little bit of money. Since I've used it, I found it does have certain advantages. It has certain disadvantages too. So in order to use it properly, you really need to know what it will do and what it won't. But first, in order to make the soil blocks, you can use any type of soil media, any of the commercial peat-lite mixes, peat perlite, peat vermiculite, all work well. It needs to be rather soggy, a lot moister than you're probably used to using it. It needs that moisture to hold the soil blocks together as you're making them. You press the block maker into your soil several times, and that will fill and compress the 4 compartments. Take and square off the bottom a little bit. Get rid of the excess soil. And what I like to do is take this top plunger and just kind of press down a couple of times. That makes certain that the soil media is going to release from the top of these plungers to make a nice, neat soil block. And then you press them out. Now, these two didn't come out very well, and it's something you have to practice at. That's one of its disadvantages. But with practice, you can make soil blocks very consistently. Now, as you can see, they do have a certain amount of cohesiveness, and they will hold together fairly well, but if they're handled gently, but they also break apart very easily. This is one of its biggest disadvantages. You cannot water these like you would an ordinary pot. The water will just run off, it'll break these soil blocks apart. You can use sub-irrigation very effectively with these soil blocks, and that's what I've come to use, and it's what I would recommend using. You can buy capillary mats from garden stores, from garden catalogs, or what I prefer to use, which is much cheaper, is just use some old cotton sheeting, drape it over a board so that the ends are down into some sort of shallow container, and this would be filled with water. The water will soak up the edges and keep this cotton sheeting moist at all times. Then you make your soil blocks, and you make them directly on the cotton sheeting. This way they stay constantly moist. You can plant your seedlings in the top, cover the hole with a little bit more of soil in order to keep it covered. This way you can have these soil blocks growing. You may want to scoot them apart a little bit. The principle of these is that as the roots come to the edge and hit the air, the root tips die, and the roots will form a mass of roots inside that soil block, no further because there's air. And the roots will hold that soil block together. So by the time the plant is grown, you have a good solid mass of roots that will hold together very well. One other disadvantage or characteristic of these that you have to work around, since you can't water these from the top, your fertilizer must either be in your soil mix before you make the blocks, or you will have to wait until the plants have emerged and have some leaves, and then use a mist to spray to foliar fertilize your plants. The easiest thing is to just put what fertilizer you need directly in the soil mix before you start. So even though soil blocks do have some characteristics that are a disadvantage, if you use these properly, with sub-irrigation such as this, not only do they work, because this reservoir will hold several days worth of water, they can be an effective and time-saving way to produce seedlings.